My name's David Jones, and I'm the visual effects supervisor for Dragon, Writers of Berk. Any brand new Dragon episode is always a big thrill for the entire crew, so lots of extra effort goes in when we know a new Dragon's coming on, because we want to make sure that that's one people will remember.
What was that?
If I had to take a guess, I'd say that was a Whispering Death.
One of the things really to look forward to in the first season is the Whispering Death, which is a new dragon.
Is there anything about the Whispering Death in the Book of Dragons that can help us?
It can shoot razor-sharp spines from any part of its body.
And how's that gonna help us?
Well, it would help if we stayed away from those.
We've seen hints of it in illustrations in the Book of Dragons short, but we knew right away we're going to need to do lots of work to get him up and running and to figure out how he moves and what his breath weapon works like.
Oh, hey, come on, it's just a hole, bud.
It's not just a hole! It's like an underground village!
He burrows tunnels, he digs these molehills that race across the village.
How do we even know the Whispering Death made these holes?
So you think it might be the other 2,500-pound rock-eating dragon we're following?
And in the final battle with Toothless, he's collapsing mountains, basically. He's knocking down these huge pillars of rock. And to us as a show, it's challenging because it means he's constantly disrupting the one thing that we can rely on every week, which is Berk is fairly stable and doesn't change. But except on those episodes, the Whispering Death episodes, Berk changes. Another fun part of the Whispering Death was his breath weapon. So as we said, we always try and keep these things physical, but if you go back and check the illustrations for the original Whispering Death, he has one of the most whimsical looking breath weapons of any of the dragons, where he shoots out this thin stream surrounded by circles which look like smoke and fire. So this was a challenge initially. How do we do a breath weapon in this form, but that feels physical? And so we found out there are these things called vortex cannons. It's a type of device basically for blowing smoke rings at high power. It's a physical property of smoke that if you funnel it through a certain shape, it'll roll along the edges of a container and then come out at high speed in the form of a ring. So we actually based his breath weapon on a vortex cannon. Probably one of the trickiest breath weapons all season, but the end result was pretty rewarding.
Think about this. Hundreds of those spinning together, ripping through dirt and tree roots, discarding rock like it's not even there.
One of the unique things about the Whispering Death when he opens his mouth is that you see those 6 rows of counter-rotating teeth. So we actually had to sit down with a piece of paper and work out the phase for all the teeth so that no matter what angle we saw, they'd all appear to spin in different directions. In future times when you see that dragon, he's pretty scary.
What is Toothless doing?
I think he wants us to back off.
No problem here.
One of the really terrifying things about the Whispering Death is that that's someone who's come up against Toothless in the past, and Toothless didn't win because the Whispering Death's still there.
The Whispering Death singled Toothless out.
And Toothless wanted that dragon all to himself.
And a dragon that powerful that can come up against Toothless, who's the king of the Dragon Kingdom to a certain extent, that's a pretty worrying concept. And with all his special powers of burrowing underground and this fantastic breath weapon and shooting spikes, he's almost unfairly advantaged over the other dragons.
You can just walk away from this, bud.
If you watch closely in the episode, this is the only time, I believe, in our show that Toothless shoots at something and misses. As we know from the movie, Night Furies never miss. The Whispering Death is so big and so fast and so dangerous that even Toothless is a little bit outclassed. But our intention is to make a dragon that really challenges Toothless at a very basic level.
What do we know about the Whispering Death?
Boulder class, razor-sharp teeth, incredibly strong, hunts from underground.
Now I really want one.
The Whispering Death is probably our standout favorite dragon for season 1, and certainly one that we did the most work on and I'm very proud of. And I'm very excited for the viewers to see what we do with him in season 2.